Welcome back to the Comic Book ASM Artist. Today we're going to be looking at my action figure and other collectibles that I have. I have about half of them on display, which you guys saw from the thumbnail, and then I have about half that I have put away, and it rotates my display. So what you saw in the thumbnail is what my shelf looks like recently. But I do have other stuff too, so I'll show some of the other items before I get into the ones you've seen in the picture, just, to switch up so it's not literally just what you saw in the picture, but it was too cool to not put as a thumbnail, so. So first off, I don't have all these, but I have 4 of them. These are the new DC Collectibles Batman animated figures, and I really love these. They put a lot of attention to them. They have a lot of really cool extras. I have not opened them, unfortunately. I think there's some way to do it where you can reseal them. I don't know if you would open it from this side or from the taped side here and then, clip it back in place, maybe. I think that would be how you do it. If you let me know down below, I'd appreciate it. Because I would like to delve into a lot of the collectible, like the all their bases have like a character design card, or the turnaround as it's called, and they have like switchable hands and weapons and different things. And these were the basic ones. They've put out some later ones where you can swap the heads and stuff like that too. But I got basically the earlier ones, and I want to go and collect the rest of them. But I just really haven't had the funds to do so, and I want to get mostly the red background ones. They also have ones for the new Batman animated series, the Kids WB one. But I like the Fox Kids design better, but the ones they don't have from that line I would obviously get from that line. But I like the Etrigan one, and I think Roxy Rocket, if I remember, the Batman Beyond one, the Superman and Lois one, just different ones. But so I just got the first ones that came out. Here's the Batman. And the cape came warped on this one, but I kind of like it because it's like it's blowing in the wind a little bit. And then I have the Robin. And I liked the original Kenner ones back in the day. But, these ones are literally like the accurate screen representation of what they look like. So that's what's so great about them. They're as accurate as they can be. I have heard issues with the joints breaking off and needing to like use a hair dryer to kind of warm him up to move him. But I have an open mind, so I haven't had that issue. But they all have those little character cards. And they're just really cool. And then there's nothing on the back of them. It just shows the standard logo. And then there's, I don't know if it's in here or not, but some of them show like the checklist for the others. But the most annoying thing is if you're really OCD, they have numbers on them. So like even if you have a full set of just the red ones, the numbers aren't in order, so it's like you have to collect the blue ones too to have a full, complete numbered set. And then I have the Joker. And then I got the Man-Bat as well. And this one was really impressive. And This one, when it first came out, I actually got it. All these were just 25 when they came out, including Man-Bat. This one now in the stores typically retails for around 40, so I don't know if that was just a pricing error or, the thing with these is DC Collectibles will not make more if they don't sell. So I think they were just trying to keep the price point low to not shoot themselves in the foot and continue to make the line. So, but I was worried because it looked like they were gonna totally end it, and then they just announced they're gonna be having the Fox Kids Two-Face, Scarecrow, Grey Ghost, and I think there was another one too. I can't recall now. Oh yeah, I always forget it's the Cyborg Batman, the Hardak. Next we'll go with this was the toy that started my collecting of Captain America. This was the first action figure I ever got, and this is what started it all. So this is why Captain America literally is my favorite superhero. I got gifted this in the Christmas of 1990, and I just liked I had never really seen Captain America around, so I liked how bright and unique he was, and the fact that I didn't see a lot of stuff on the shelf for him. So it was very sought after for me because I didn't see a lot of things. I was just really interested in the design and the fact that there wasn't the market didn't seem like it was flooded with Captain America merchandise at the time. And I had about a half of these too. That same Christmas, my brother got, or I got, I can't recall. I know someone got Doc Ock. My oldest brother got the Doctor Doom, and I believe he also got the Spider-Man. But later on, I acquired the Hulk one, and the Punisher one we couldn't have because of the guns, and Silver Surfer, my mom had a weird thing with him too, being naked, and the whole Daredevil thing, my mom was super, super protective and conservative, so anything that was slightly questionable, we weren't allowed to have in our house. What I love about this too is there is French on the box, I believe. This actually isn't the Toy Biz release. This is I don't know if it's like an offshoot brand maybe, because I know it's got on the corner here Sharan toy, but this is almost identical to the original one I had. And I bought this toy like maybe 3 or 4 times. The spring would always break in here. The crotch would split. The leg joints would break as well. The Toy Biz toys were great and they were fun to play with, but they broke a lot. I don't know if it was just the quality of the plastic. The Kenner ones seemed like they were solid pieces, but the Toy Biz ones were hollow in the middle, so they were more susceptible to breakage. So I kept this one in the box specifically so it wouldn't break as soon as I opened it. So I have this. I did do another video that's literally all my Tick toys. I'm not going to show those here, but I will leave a link below if you want to check those out. Tick is one of my favorite heroes, and I actually wasn't able to find these toys when I was a kid, but recently on eBay, my kid had a Tick birthday based upon his love of watching the cartoon, and I was fortunate enough to find a ton of Tick stuff, so I got doubles of most of the figures. So I lucked out and got him. And my son's one was actually his butt literally fell off of his one, so this is the only whole Tick we have like this. And this is actually the second series, or the first one had like a spring feature that didn't work too well. Next I got this. I'm not sure I showed this. I got him at Ace Comic-Con a couple months ago. And this little thing right there is coming off. But it's supposed to, like, the cape is supposed to close and then open, but the plastic is really brittle on it. So if I close it, this might just break totally off, so. And that's the only play feature on. You would think it would have like a squeeze leg bash action or something, but this is literally the first Spawn action figure that came out, so it's pretty cool. And then I have a more recent like Spawn statue. It moves a little, but you know, it's more about the detail than anything else. The cool chain here. And I found this at a secondhand store just out of the box. Sorry about that. But I just loved how detailed it was, and I do currently follow the Spawn books. I've been out of the loop for a long time, but he's always been a character that intrigued me with the whole, you know, fighting the supernatural elements and stuff. So, pretty cool. Definitely visually striking, and with the chains and everything, I couldn't pass it up. So, it's that one. And then I have these. These are the Marvel icons, and they're dusty. These are on my shelf here, so. And I actually have both versions of this toy. And if you ask me, this is literally the best Captain America figure that has ever come out. Highly articulated, like all the fingers move independently. Yeah, there's so much dust. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't cleaned them in a while. But I just decided to do this video on the spur of the moment, so. Or I've been thinking about it this week, but, you know, I haven't had the time to clean them, but I was gonna stop that from having me make the video. But this came out, I want to say it was maybe 2006. I can't find the marking on them. But if you try to get them now, they're about $100 a piece. I think they were around 40 whenever they came out. But easily the best Captain America figures I've seen. I'm not crazy on the head sculpt for Steve Rogers. I think he looks a bit like Bobby Flay with blonde hair. I know Bobby Flay has red hair, but I don't know if it's like the cheekbones or something, but I don't think it really looks like how I picture Steve Rogers. But nonetheless, these are very cool, and this is what I want to say is the best Captain America figure. And there's all the detailing on the chainmail here, or the scale mail rather. It's not chainmail. And we got some cool little bone figurines. And these only come when if you ever get to meet Jeff Smith, these are some of the convention merch he sells, and you can only get them if you see him at a convention. So, at least to my knowledge, I never saw these in stores or anything. But they all sit on their little bases, and it's the same base on all of them. And Jeff actually signed each and every single one of them, and he labeled each of them too. And it's starting to, signatures are starting to come off on them, but regardless, they're really cool. Nice little unique items, so. And I think they were just 10 a piece. So if you're a big Bone fan, I'm sure you can appreciate these. Here's one of the second, like, later runs for the Marvel Legends. This was when they switched to, like, the cheaper plastic, and this was after Toy Biz was no longer making them. I believe this is Hasbro. But yeah, you can tell the plastic is way too bright, and the joints on them are like make like clicking noises and stuff. They're very stiff. Some people enjoy them. I liked the original run of the Marvel Legends figures, but this one is obviously like the World War II era. You can definitely tell they're trying to go for a Jack Kirby look on them with like the nose detail and everything. I think they pulled that off successfully, so pretty neat. I also had the Bucky, but my kids violated it, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, in all honesty. The proportions were really weird, and it looked a lot like George W. Bush in a Bucky outfit, so not my favorite figure. And we have one of the earlier Marvel Legends Taskmaster, and his cape does not fit him right on this thing. It's really weird. If I just let it sit on him, it like pops like that. It's weird. And I don't know where his sword is, but whenever these came out, I was just really trying to stick to a few select groups. And, he's in the Captain America wheelhouse for me. He did Avengers and stuff like that, of course, but he's come across Captain America quite a bit, so that was the main reason I got him. And then I got a few more of him, too. But they're kind of buried, so we'll just go through what I can grab, I guess. Found some random Simpsons toys, and this is just like a figurine of Bart on a skateboard. We got a random Bart bendable. And I found all of these in like a baggy lot at a secondhand store. If you grew up in that early time period when the first show came out, it was definitely a pretty large fixture. So, and these are the early Playmates ones where they had the dialogue you could stick in their heads. I've tried to get this clean, but I can't figure out how to do it. I think it's just too far oxidized. And I also had the Bart, but I don't know where he went. And then there's Marge. The Lisa bendable here. Little Maggie. And then I have the Bartman, which is the main one I have displayed with my other stuff right now, looking at a Batman. His head's really wobbly. And then I have one of my favorite Batmans here with the color scheme that was popular back in that late 80s period. Even though in the movie it's all black. This is the movie molded costume here with the Michael Keaton mouth on it and everything. But they put it in the, some people would call it Neil Adams, but, it was even before that era. But that's what I associate with that whole Joker's 5-way revenge and all that. So really cool. I have this, and then the little winch that goes with it, but one of my kids broke the thing so it doesn't clip to his wrist anymore, but you'd have him hold on there. It'd stay there, and then you would unclip it and it would shoot up. So, but this is one I repurchased at a con, but I had this as a kid. My grandma gifted this to me. So once again, one of those early toys. And most of these I used to have when I was little, so. And then I have the, this was before the Marvel Legends line was a thing. They had some Spider-Man ones. This is the Todd McFarlane designed one. And this came where he popped off, but I had a friend in college who fixed this for me. I don't know, he soldered it or something, and it'd still break it if you're really rough with it, but, you know, I'll just pose him every now and then, so. Pretty cool that it even predates the Marvel Legends stuff, because those were, you know, such a huge success. And then this is one of my favorite newer Batman, just because it these came out with the release of the new Batman, Superman, Jeff Loeb, and Ed McGuinness run. It is in a 2-pack, but the Superman's head popped off. But I really love how the cape is cloth, but it maintains the mold of the cowl and everything like that. So, and I used to have a few others. There was a Robin and a Joker and a Killer Croc and a Mr. Freeze, but I don't have them anymore. This was a really fun line. Then we have the Steve Rogers, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., with the, I don't know if it was, you want to call it like a laser shield or whatever, that came out in the Wade run back in 96 or 97, and then they re-brought it back out. But, yeah, this is a period when Steve Rogers was literally just out in front, not going by Captain America anymore. I believe that they were onto the Bucky cap when this was going on, if I remember. And I do have that one as well. And this was actually one of the first Marvel Diamond Select figures they released. It was this one, the Hulk and Thor and Iron Man, I want to say. And I think this was the second one in the line. Maybe. I know there are a few others. I also remember there being a Spider-Man and a Punisher one where he's like at an arcade and the perp's got a grenade in his mouth and he's got his gun aimed at his mouth. But it has the gargoyle base to recreate. I believe it was Captain America number 50. But I don't know where his gun went. His shield came off. But there's his shield, so. And you can definitely tell, like, it's very faithful to how Alex Ross had designed it here. And then his little canteen and his knife came off, but pretty cool. And they did have a variant where it was Bucky's head, but the neck was almost too long on it. The head was too small, maybe, so it made it look unnatural. And then I have this Tetsuo that I showed you all before. And then the Kaneda from Akira. And like I said, I believe this one is supposed to come with a bike, but I just found it at a thrift place. And has this weird like rubber pants thing right here, so little detail there. I guess that was the only way that they could get away with this on a toy in a toy store at the time. There were quite a few of the McFarlane toys they had to kind of censor back in the day. Then I have the first Marvel Legends Captain America. And I remember being really upset because this figure was really hard to find at the time. And I actually found it, I think, at GameStop, and I paid $15 for it. And yeah, I don't have the base or stuff anymore. All these used to have like bases, and his had a flag and like it was like a war set up on it. And even his strap broke on here recently, but pretty basic. And my kids mess with this one too, so the head likes to come off. That piece is broken there, but I like the fact that it was, it was the first one. It's not the best molding, but at the time it was the best Cap toy that had come out. Like I said, nothing really compares to that Marvel Legends Icons one, but that one's pretty cool that I have. And we have the Red Skull one too. And this was actually a variant in the line. It wasn't one of the regular figures. And this is actually what they did is they repainted all this body here was repainted from the Marvel Legends movie Daredevil mold. Every bit of it. This was all the the Daredevil movie figure, and then they just put a Red Skull head on it. So, and there used to be a hat. I don't know where the hat is. And then he had a little Luger with him too. And then I used to have a Baron Zemo, but his crotch broke away, and I couldn't salvage it. It was so far gone, so. Then we have one of the classic, I want to say Erdl or Irwin Dragon Ball toys. It doesn't have any articulation, really. And this was one I recently found. I used to have it as a kid. I got it for my, I want to say 14th birthday at a comic shop, and these were like the Japanese imports or whatever. And he had like a cape that would clip on, like the front came off, and then it had a back here, and then you could put his little turban on. But it's cool to see this even in the wild. So even though it didn't have everything, it's Piccolo was my favorite character in Dragon Ball Z. The first episode I ever saw the show was the one where he sacrifices himself for Gohan when they're fighting Nappa. So I always thought that was really cool, and later learned the rest of his backstory and stuff. And he's just kind of gruff and a jerk at times, but, he does mean well. So he was my favorite character, so that's the main reason that I got the figure. So, and of course, every collection's not complete without a California Raisin Man. I believe these were from Hardee's back in the day. And I don't see it on here, but this is from 1987, I believe, or 89. But yeah, if you grew up in the 80s, you gotta have a Raisin Man in your collection, so that's why I have him. Then I found one of the early runs of Luke Skywalker at a thrift store too. He doesn't have his extendable lightsaber anymore, but nonetheless still cool. It is an iconic toy out of history, so very cool. I don't have a ton of Star Wars toys or anything, but I couldn't resist this one, This is my wife's old Dalek keychain that broke. I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan, but I can definitely see the appeal of it. And I've seen a few episodes on occasion. So it's pretty cool. And I found a random snake. I don't know if you want to call this an action figure. I don't like how you can't have him stand normally. He stays in his crawl position, but still just a cool little piece to display, you know. So doesn't even have his gun or anything. But I want to find the McFarlane Metal Gear figures, though. I really love those games. Then I have my Skyward Sword Link. And these are really crazy. This is one of the Japanese Figmas, and you can actually pull their stuff off and change out the heads and stuff. I don't have the box with the other parts, but you can pull everything off. Literally swap out the heads and the hands and everything else. So these usually go for around like $50 more or less. And it's one of the lower end ones. They have ones that are more expensive, but the affordable Figmas are around $50, so. Then I have this. I actually won this at PAX last year. They had a Zelda panel, and I won a trivia question. Literally every hand went up. It was, what is the Yiga clan's favorite fruit? And it is bananas, which everyone knew. It's from the new Breath of the Wild Zelda game that trivia is from. And so they only chose me because I had a rolled up poster in my hand, so I stood out, and they picked me. And then I got this. This came with the collector's set for Breath of the Wild, but I didn't originally buy the collector's set, so this was cool to be able to have. Then I have some other Zelda Amiibos here. Apparently these two are some harder to find Amiibos now that are quite valuable, but I believe that's in the packaging. But if they're in the packaging, you can't use them. They have some protective thing that keeps them from being used, but I like them regardless if it decreased their value out of the package, but they're pretty cool, so I have those. And then I have the Mario. And then I have Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. They're a great game. So, pretty neat. Yeah, and then everything else is just all these turtles that you guys saw. You know, they're a huge part of anyone's childhood from the late 80s, early 90s. So, couldn't pass them up. I paid a little over $100 for all of them. So, and about half of them I had as a kid, but then ones like Baxter Stockman here and Bebop and Rocksteady I never had as a kid. Used to have a Leatherhead, but I popped this part off by accident. And our weird shirtless Shredder. Casey Jones I never had. Foot Soldier I never had. Yeah, we had Metalhead. He was a harder one to find though. And then my kids pulled the ears off of Yosagi Yojimbo here, but the original one, my grandma gifted me that one too, so that's my memory for that. I have this random paperweight my son gave me for my birthday. Oh, then I have this random Happy Meal toy. I'm not really crazy about the design of it. It's one of the newer Batmans. But the cool thing here is this play feature. He grabs his Batarang and he throws him. Like, that is really cool that they were able to pull that off in a toy, I think. So, regardless of design, I really liked that action ability. So, pretty neat. And then this is my son's, but it's too cool not to show off the yellow Submarine Lego set. And then they're all inside there. I'm a big Beatles fan, so. And I have passed that on my kids too, so they have fun with it. And then it has like that little base that goes with it there too, so. And finally I have this guy here. This is a, I want to say Kabutoyo Batman statue that came out maybe a year and a half ago, but I think it's one that kind of went under the radar. It's really cool, and I think more people need to check it out. It's all detailed here, like on his tights. It's like a marbled finish where it looks almost like a gargoyle. And then you can swap out the different parts. His head comes off here, and then you can just slide. There's like a drawer filled with different Batman heads and expressions, so. This is the main one. You can do the sad Batman from the Two-Face Harvey No scene. Pretty cool. I don't have it pushed all the way in because I want to be able to pull out. I don't know why this one's not coming out, but the little smirk one. Give it a thumbs up. But then there is like a straight-faced one. And then they have one with his mouth open. And then they have a grappling hook. Or bat grappler, whatever the crap you want to call it. And then they have a Batarang one as well. So definitely a cool Batman, and he's around, I want to say, for like $55, so check him out. I think it's well worth it. It's a nice display piece. Alright, well that's gonna do it for now. You all have a good day or night. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Go support my Bull number 1 Indiegogo if you have not already. Links below. And you all have a good day or night. Thanks so much. Bye.